Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all staying safe, and I hope you can see the screen and hear us loud and clear. I'm Jana Ayoub, and I would like to thank you all for attending today's webinar, Close Talent Gaps and Nurture Leaders with SAP SuccessFactors. I would like to make a few announcements. First, kindly note that this session is being recorded and will be published on our YouTube channel. Second, the Q&A mode has been enabled, and you should be able to see a question icon on the bottom right corner when you drag the side menu bar. Feel free to press the icon and type any question during the session, and we will answer them at the very end. And now we will share a quick survey on your screen, just for us to know you a little bit better. Thank you. The agenda for today is as follows. First, we will be talking about who we are, followed by SAP SuccessFactors solution presentation, which will be led by our Pre-Sales and Projects Director, Mr. Ajay Prasad. Then, we will be showcasing the solution in action, which will be covered by our SAP HXM Transformation Lead, Ms. Jyotika Karnani. Finally, we will have a Q&A session to answer all your questions. We're sure that today's session will help you cultivate your next generation of talent and engage and retain current employees to support your strategy and success. Before we dive into the presentation, I wanted to quickly share with you about Inflexion. We are a certified SAP Gold Partner for the MENA region with offices in UAE, Lebanon, Oman, and an offshore development center in India. We are in business for more than 14 years and have helped successfully deliver more than 200 projects. We were able to provide quality service to our growing 3,500 SAP licensed users through our family of about 100 plus experts, of which 97% are SAP certified with combined 900 years of SAP solution expertise. Our deep-rooted SAP relationship, being a value-added reseller and build partners with PCOE and recognized expertise of solutions and industry vertical, provides us with the ability to deliver focused SAP solutions covering small, medium, and large enterprises, like the ERP solutions RISE with SAP, SAP S/4HANA, SAP Business by Design, SAP Business One, and SAP Customer Checkout for the point of sales. While we also have SAP SuccessFactors, SAP Ariba, and SAP Customer Experience for the line of business. And finally, SAP Analytics and SAP Business Technology Platform, we help you become an intelligent enterprise. SAP PCOE certification is awarded post-SAP audit, which ensures we have the process, infrastructure, certified people, and SLA to deliver quality support consistently post-implementation. Our SAP recognized expertise in SAP Business One, SAP Business by Design, and SAP Customer Products highlights our commitment to customers. This designation recognizes the experience and competencies to distinguish our capabilities from competitors in the market. The requirements include having trained and certified individuals in a focus area or industry, and a track record of customer success and satisfaction. Our SAP certified and highly experienced team of consultants not only provide implementation and rollout services, but can also migrate and upgrade your existing solution. Our SAP PCOE certification ensures high quality of support, maintenance, and service levels, while our build partnership allows us to develop specific customization and adaptation for your business requirements. We can help you extend and integrate with SAP or third-party systems as well. With all these, we serve as your single window provider for your digital transformation journey. That's about Inflexion and expertise in a snap. And now let me hand over to our Pre-Sales and Projects Director, Mr. Ajay Prasad, without further ado.
Thank you, Jana. Welcome, good morning, and welcome to all, one and all who joined us today for this webinar. It's a pleasure to have host you today in our webinar, which is going to be focused on SAP Success Factors and, in particular, the succession and development module that SAP Success Factors has to offer. So let's first try and understand what is SAP Success Factors before we move on to the features and functionality of SAP Success Factors and why SAP Success Factors. So let's try and see what is the need for an SAP solution like SAP SuccessFactors. As you can see, the numbers speak volumes. There is a retention has lowered from 15 years to 4 years. The retention period has lowered from 15 years to 4 years. And 2 million people in the US are citing negative workplace experiences as a reason for them to change their jobs. As well as 70% of the millennials are looking at poor technology experience as one of the reasons why they would want to look for a newer job. So, having painted this picture, are you equipped to respond to such kind of a requirement? So, 84% of the leaders point to this and say that it is a top priority for them, but only 9% believe they are ready to address this issue. So let us see how we can close this gap with the help of SAP SuccessFactors. So to start with, SAP SuccessFactors is essentially the leading XHM solution in the world today. It is a cloud-based solution and has 200 million plus users, and it's counting on a daily basis as it keeps increasing. We have 13,000 plus customers who are using SAP SuccessFactors across various landscapes of their organizations, starting from very large to small organizations who are spread across the geography, multiple geographies, as well as globally as well. So there are 350 plus go live just in Q4 of 2021. That goes to show how the adoption of SAP SuccessFactors is being is led in the industry. So, what is XHM? So, human experience management is essentially a new concept of human experience, extension of human capital management, where we're talking about experience data as well as operational data. When we talk about experience data, it's the data that we gather when we engage with the employees and manage their experiences and get understanding of their experiences. Whereas the transactional data is the operational data with which we are able to merge and bring about to you the actual requirement in order to listen, understand, and act as a totality. And this is something that needs to keep happening on a continuous basis. So how does SAP SuccessFactors HXM suite address this? So essentially, what you can see right now is the solution map of SAP SuccessFactors, and right at the bottom we have the foundation, which is essentially the SAP best practices and extensibility that is possible with the solution. On top of which we have the SAP Business Technology Platform layer, which allows us to be able to do the security and identity management in terms of single sign-on or having two-factor authentication. We can also integrate SAP SuccessFactors with your existing ERP or finance solution. Not only that, but also along with third-party solutions that you might require depending on your industry that you're working on, as well as gather experience data and also be able to analyze the data in terms of business intelligence and be able to do augmented analytics with planning and machine learning capabilities, which allow you to be able to predict the outcomes as well. And also, finally, we have the application lifecycle management tool, which also allows us as partners to be able to implement the complete solution for you in your organization. On top of that, we have the analytics and planning tools that are available from SuccessFactors, which are primarily built for analysis and planning of workforce as well as the employees that you have in your organization. These are again pre-packaged solutions that are available. Having said that, we can always depend and define new dimensions to it as well. Then we have the core HR and payroll module, which is consisting of Employee Central, the global benefits, time and attendance, and then the payroll engine. Finally, we have the HR help desk, which allows you for service requirements in servicing your employees. Continued with that, on top of that, we have the talent management suite, again, which consists of recruiting, onboarding, performance management, compensation management, succession and development, the topic of today's webinar, learning management, and in addition, the new modules, which are sales performance management and opportunity marketplace. So, a combination of all of these modules forms your core HCM solution. And on top of that is the employee experience, where you're able to get the experience data, merge it with the operational data, which is coming from core HR and the talent management module, in order to resolve the problem that you as an organization would face with the millennium. I would also like to point out that these modules can be implemented as standalone modules. You can always start from any one of the modules and grow into the others. It's not necessary that the core HR module has to be implemented first. It is definitely an advantage, but it's not something that is mandated. Also, do understand that the user interface is intuitive, it is employee centric in nature, the product itself, and also has mobile capabilities where you can download and use iOS and Android based applications natively built for your mobile devices as well. So let's dig deeper into the modules that we spoke about, starting with employee experience. Under employee experience, again, we have several sub-modules that you can license. So we start with Work Zone, which is a digital workspace which brings all of SAP's modules together in one single uniform window, in allowing your users and employees to have the benefit of notifications as well as engaging with other people and collaborating in a single environment. You have the employee engagement module, which allows you to conduct surveys and ensure that there are trigger based or event based, action based items that you can survey on. Employee lifecycle management allows you to be able to monitor the employee's lifecycle in order to get the cross between an event which has been triggered and the operational data to get you visibility. Employee benefits optimizer allows you to be able to intelligently optimize the employee's benefits that you can probably derive at based on over a period of time and over a period of data that has been collected. And then we have employee experience management for IT, which is primarily for the service desk in order to see how well your HR service desk is performing. And finally, we have Qualtrics 360, which is a module which gives you which gives you a holistic 360-degree view of your employee experience, putting all this data together. Again, all of this have a single entry point to access all business applications, along with intelligent benefit optimizations and multi-rater assessments that go into these modules by default. Keep in mind that each of these modules can be licensed separately. It's not necessary that you have to buy all of them. We evaluate what is relevant for your business, and we then can create a roadmap and implement this in a phased manner as well. Moving on to the core HR and payroll module, which consists of Employee Central, which is at the heart of the solution. It consists and also is then extended by the payroll engine, which allows you to be able to configure and run payrolls and has been localized for 46 plus countries by SAP and for 172 currencies as well. And further, if there is a localization which is not pre-localized, then we as partners will be able to localize the solution in order to meet the requirements of your organization in the geography where you want to deploy it. We have close to around 100 million plus employees payroll, which are currently running on payroll of Employee Central in order for them to be able to deliver accurate results. In addition to the payroll module, we have a new module called as time tracking from SAP SuccessFactors. This module extends the integration between biometric devices as well as third-party attendance and timekeeping devices or software if required, in order to enhance the visibility that you get in terms of the time punch in and punch outs as well as integration. And this data seamlessly then integrates with the payroll as well as the employee central time off module to be able to give you a complete and holistic picture of your team's attendance. Employee Central Service Desk is again a HR help desk as module which is available as a standalone product as well as a combination within uh, Employee Central. This again is a module that can be extended to be able to perform ticket based service as well as to ensure that there is turnaround times that are tracked and effectiveness of the service that is being offered is also closely monitored. Finally, we have open document management with open text as employee record keeping and documents are a voluminous amount of activity, and also you would like to have a centralized document management system and ensure that there is securities that are applied and roles and responsibilities are given with visibility to only limited people being able to access it, along with text based as well as file name based searches and indexing as well as archiving is very much possible with document management, which is a third party tool from OpenText that can be also integrated, thereby allowing your employee to have self-service in terms of time and attendance, and as well as a whole lot of workflows can also be configured in this module to ensure the complete process is taken care within the system itself. Moving on to the talent management modules, we have starting with recruitment, followed with onboarding. So with the recruitment, you also get features like recruitment management and recruitment marketing, which allows you to not only be able to collect the profiles and filter them and take them from till the stage where you hire and issue an offer letter, but you can also advertise this on multiple channels and be able to open the channels to your recruiting agencies, as well as create a portal for recruitment which can be published on your website or on your domain as well, where the candidate's experience is continuously enhanced. It's a comprehensive workflow which can be configured, and you can have several automated actions in terms of emails and SMSs being sent as well, followed by onboarding, when you have to enhance the experience of the employee when he is hired and when he comes on to the onboarding, then he becomes an onboarding. Then we have an onboarding module as well, which will allow the HR as well as the onboardee to be able to get a better experience along with buddy assignments as well, followed by performance management, which helps the organization to ensure that their staff is evaluated continuously and a feedback is being given, as well as the staff knows where they stand and the employee is able to perform and deliver to their best capabilities. Today's focus module of the webinar is succession management, which is what we are going to talk about in a little more detail, and Jyotika will be able to demo the product as well for you. And we have in succession management multiple aspects of the succession and career development that can be configured. We have learning and development module as well, which is part of the learning management suite. Again, this module is a framework which allows for virtual as well as physical training events and feedback to be gathered. It can also integrate with third party providers as well in order to be able to publish the content online. Opportunity Marketplace is again a collaborative tool which has been introduced by SAP SuccessFactors, which allows employees to be able to manage their opportunities in terms of growth, in terms of career planning, and in terms of learning. With the intelligent services that SAP has provided, it uses machine learning capabilities to suggest the courses as well as the career paths that an employee would want to take. And at the same time, for managers to be able to build a pool of resources and also analyze the risks and take the necessary options in order to create an opportunity for the manager in order to be able to build a strong team and an employee to be able to build a strong career as well. We have compensation management, which allows your organization to be able to calibrate and distribute compensation, including benefits as well as salary packages, along with budgeting as well as planning, which rolls up at a global level, including approvals that can be also routed using the workflows in compensation management. Finally, we have the sales performance management, which again is a new addition to the talent management suite, where you can manage the incentives, the sales commission targets, as well as incentives of your employees in order to ensure that they get the best benefits and they achieve the targets that are required. And also, you have agent management, where you can have external parties who can manage and they can be rewarded as well. Another part, as part of compensation, is rewards as well as rewards management, where you can appreciate and reward instantly, or you can give a repetitive reward to a performing employee as well, thereby putting you on the right path in terms of managing your talent, which is essentially your employees. We have analytics and planning, which again sits on top of all this data in order to be able to deliver the insights and the decision support system that you're looking at. We also have artificial intelligence for planning that is enabled, to which will help you to analyze and be able to plan your workforce as you go forward. Again, there are multiple modules which can be enabled. Workforce analytics comes built into the product, which gives you the business intelligence and reporting capabilities, or along with ad hoc reporting as well that can be done and built by you as an end user. We also have the digital boardroom, which allows for presentation of live data because of the HANA platform on which SAP SuccessFactors runs and the data is stored on. We have additionally SAP Analytics Cloud, which comes with built-in packages, which will help you showcase the environment or the packages in a more visual manner, and you can build stories across as well. And then finally, we have SAP Analytics Cloud for planning, which allows you to be able to plan your workforce as well as be able to predict and budget your workforce as you when you require and manage the workforce as well. So from a business technology platform perspective, this is essentially a tool which is available, which is a platform as a service, which has multiple services that are associated with it in terms of database and data management, analytics as well, application development and integration in order to extend the applications and give you custom solutions or business specific requirements can also be done on business technology platform. And it also comprises of intelligent technologies like artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, IoTs, which can always be used in the environment in order to extend the functionality of SAP SuccessFactors to make it even better than what it is. Just to give you an example of how SAP SuccessFactors is able to cope and with the global mandates and regulatory changes, you can see this graph depicts over the period of 5 years from 2017 the number of changes that SAP has adapted globally as far as HR and legal and regulatory changes that are being expected. So that gives you an advantage of using one solution across your global deployment environment. Further, we have true global coverage with SAP SuccessFactors with 43 languages available of the solution. It's globalized in terms of supporting multiple countries, languages, time zones, currencies, and specific fields which are required in order for you to be able to capture nationalized IDs and address formats as well. So just to give you an example, here in UAE, we have the Emirates ID, and then the number format is predefined that is already pre-configured in SAP SuccessFactors. So the validation happens automatically. And I guess from an address perspective, it knows what are the addresses and it does not ask for a PIN code because PIN code is not relevant in UAE. But at the same time, if it is the US or if it is India, for example, then PIN code is relevant along with the PO box. So those are enabled by default. Again, from a localizations perspective, we also have country-specific fields, business rules that are written in order for leaves as well as various other benefits that would probably vary from country to country, thereby making it a global solution that can be used along with local compliance with worldwide standardization as well. So why success factors? This is probably my last slide before hand it over to Jyotika to show you the product itself. So first and foremost, it's simple and intuitive user interface. So the user interface is consumer grade. There is not much of training that is required. Users will be able to log into the system and be able to start using the system right from the word go. And it's also available on the mobile in terms of mobile phones or mobile tablets, where it has native apps that users can download and install and use as well. It also has unmatched services and support provided by us as partners as well as SAP in the background. It's got a depth and breadth of capabilities that you will be able to see in a small module like succession and development planning as well. These are again enhanced over a period of time as we have half yearly updates that are done to the product and the solution. Since it's a software as a service, these are distributed directly from SAP for you to be able to utilize and adapt in your environment. It's a bottom-up approach to skill development as well. It has automated compliance that we spoke about, technology for more inclusive workforce, starting from millennials to the other generations that you have in your environment. It caters to everybody in the workforce that you have, cross-enterprise insight and intelligence, thereby giving you a complete solution and a holistic view of what to expect, extensibility in flexibility in terms of starting from anywhere. As I mentioned, you can start with just the recruitment module or probably just the compensation module, and then you can build across as and when you want and add additional modules. There is rapid innovation that SAP delivers with a roadmap that is published publicly available for us to know what to expect in the near future, as well as 2 years down the line, the releases, what are happening and what features in each of these modules. And it is recognized as a leader in terms of a product solution perspective. So you as a user would be rest assured that you're working with one of the best solutions that the that has to be offered. So moving on to SAP SuccessFactors succession and development. Now, whatever we spoke about so far was for SAP SuccessFactors as a suite of product, and today's focus is succession and development planning. And you can see again the numbers speak about how skill gaps are available and how 34% of the companies are wanting to give the training that their employees need in order to for them to be productive and to be able to make the company grow successfully as well. So starting with people development, we have skills development, which is basically a gap or insight that is given to you. And this is something that the system automatically is able to generate, and it shows you where the skills are and how the people are in each of those skills, and gives you a gap between the skills that are required and the skills that need to be developed, thereby setting a clear path of how people need to develop themselves in the organization. We have the career exploration feature as well, where people are able to match their job roles with the current job role that they have and the expectations that they would want to in terms of their growth strategy as well. SAP Success Factors, based on various parameters, also is able to suggest those job roles to them, which you can accept and then start working on in order to be able to meet those job roles and to be able to occupy that position and grow into that position. You can also manage and develop your own goals, and that would align with the goals that is expected from that position. So that is done using the development goal perspective, and also with learning that is integrated with the learning management in order for you to be able to develop your skills in order to be able to grow and learn as well. The people development module further has intelligent mentor matching capabilities, where the system will then look at all the possible mentors that could be matched with the mentees so that they can mentor the mentee to be able to do and grow into that particular role that they aim to grow into. Again, collaboration is key, and success factors allows them to collaborate in multiple aspects, starting from recommending courses, giving continuous feedback, monitoring the skill and development gaps as well, and having an interaction between the mentor and mentees. So this is again an effective tool that is used in order to be able to track and manage mentors and mentees. Finally, in people development, we have collaborative learning. The collaborative learning tool brings together all the content which is required for them to be able to successfully grow into the job role by recommending the courses and also showing the courses which are newly added, as well as looking at the leadership as well as mentoring programs that the organization has to offer and they can prescribe to them as well. Finally, from a succession planning perspective, we have a talent pools that SAP SuccessFactors is able to develop. These talent pools are again developed based on various parameters, and this is something that the system automatically groups and puts them into various buckets in order for the manager or the HR to be able to manage these talent pools and be able to do the analysis that is required and be able to select and nominate the people in order to grow into the succession planning part of it. We also have the talent calibration tool which is available. Again, these are 9 grid boxes that are generated based on the records that are available. Multiple 9 grid calibration reviews are possible. You have matrices which give you performance versus potential to understand how a person is performing and what is their potential as well. It rates those them. You also have how versus what, and we have objective versus competency as well, so you get a clarity of where each of the employees stands. Again, to have an unbiased view and opinion in order to be able to plan well, it can give you no picture or with picture access as well which can be populated and showed on the line grid that you can see, or if you want to hide the pictures, that can also be done as an option. As mentioned again, we would like to reiterate that mobile experience is very much available, so all these can be done at the comfort of the home or when they are on the move during the journey, when they spend majority of the time on the roads based on the kind of country that we live in, you know how crowded it can get. You can also have the advantages that the mobile application has in terms of interactive way of working with them, and you can see that the screens are again designed to meet the mobility aspect of it. So then the people can engage and the employees can engage well. So this basically gives you a holistic picture of what SAP SuccessFactors as a suite is and what the capabilities of succession and development are. And after my session, Jyotika would be able to showcase all of that or most of what we actually discussed. And to wrap up my presentation today, we can try and see what is unique about SuccessFactors succession and development module. First and foremost, it's comprehensive, so you can create the succession and development part are well tuned and well integrated together along with the other modules. Again, employee comes first, so offer of the consumer grade experience, thereby reducing the time of training as well as the user interface is intuitive and simple to understand and brings all the data at one point. We also have employee empowerment where it lets employees take control of their careers so in order for them to be able to grow. And finally, we have embedded intelligence and continuous development that happens in order to make sure the product is able to give you what you deliver and is able to grow along with how the company grows as well. So I would like to thank you all and hand it over to Jyotika now to show us the actual product in action and walk us through succession and development module of SuccessFactors.
Informative indeed. I am now sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible. I have logged in into SuccessFactors system as Mr. Jeff Hill. Jeff Hill, who is the employee of the organization and also one of the managers. As we start, I would first like to be taking you to the end point of what happens as a result of having a good succession plan and career development plan. This feature is called presentations. If Jeff has to present about yearly review of his team, this is a pre-populated template that has been created for Jeff, which means he doesn't have to take data, compile reports, or put it in a PPT. Not only that, this is a live data, as in, over here we can see that Mr. Jeff has 8 direct reports and 23 in total, which means Ms. Jada Baker has 5 direct reports, Mr. James Clean having 4 direct reports, etc. So if we want to know about one of the direct reports, for example, Ms. Jada Baker, I can click up over here and understand the names of the direct reports that she has. I can also get more information about Ms. Jada Baker. Alternatively, as Mr. Jeff is speaking in the presentation, then and there, Mr. Jeff can make changes in the data as this is connecting in real time to his development plan, to his profile. And if he wants to make any changes, we can start the process then and there if manager has the permission. Going back to understand more, as this would be discussed more in succession plan as well. Going forward, we see data relating to the objective status, a up-to-date dashboard, which when clicked further can generate more data. The filters can be added and the data can be downloaded as and when required. As we see, the data can be downloaded into CSV or Excel format. This shows that the manager is never short of data. Going forward, here we see a performance versus potential graph. If we click on the placards, we would be able to compare the data for further analysis. Also, we can also have a different report for high potentials, which shows how many employees are ready or would take 1 to 2 years, 3 to 5 years, etc. Further going ahead is the compensation review of the employees, their job titles, current pay information, market pay information, the merit, and the final salary that they would be getting. We also see a competency versus objective graph. With here, we can understand the status of the employee who exceeds expectation, who are into meet expectations, etc. And we can also have a bifurcated graph. Over here, we see an average compensation by gender and average compensation by department. And this is a quick outline of capability of reporting career development and succession planning data in one unified spot. That's the magic of what has happened. Now, let's see how it has happened. As I am still logged in as Jeff, I should now navigate to my development plan. Over here, I see a career worksheet. Career worksheet is divided into two parts, the jobs that I am considering and my current role. Obviously, my current role has to be one, and this is what I am working on. And I am holding this position since 11 years and 9 months. Going forward, the job roles that I am considering as of now, I see as executive management and sales. Apart from this, I can also have suggested roles by the system. I can select any one of them as required. Also, not only suggested one, I can also browse job roles. Now over here, if you see, if I select digitization, for example, and select on digital consultant or let's say a digital expert, the first thing I see is the description, the header, the job description, job summary, the competencies that I would need to achieve, the skills that are required, the education, etc. Once I feel that I can do it, but of course I'm a genius, I would add this role. So I can have multiple roles added, which can be seen up here. Each roles have few competencies. Each roles can have the same view, which we just saw, a detailed view to understand the level required and the work required to achieve this job role. I can also have a career path view for my better understanding. For each and every competencies, if that needs work, for example, if we see a thinking globally competency, I understand with two different colors, which is green and blue on the screen, the last rating was 3 out of expected of 4.6, which means I need work. Over with this, I can add a development goal. I can add a goal, I can add a measure of success, a start date or end date, and I can select the competency. SuccessFactors gives an exhaustive list of long competency list which can be selected, and we would see that the competency which we clicked on is already ticked. We can further check or update if this is a current role or a future role or a general skill list. Not only this, Mr. Jeff, I can also be working on a development plan. As we get into a development plan, we see a career development plan with certain goals. There can be certain learning activities added. Talking about learning activities, which is well integrated with our learning module, I as an employee can add certain learning activity, or I as a manager can also assign learning activities to my employees. I can also see that Mr. Jeff Hill has one more goal plan, which is high potential development plan. As we get into high potential development plan, we understand that the look has entirely changed, but the functionality remains the same. I can still add new activities and I can work on it. So over here, I see as an employee what all I'm able to do. Similarly, if I hop on to one of my team members, say Ms. Jada Baker, I will be able to see her progress on the goals, and I would also be able to assign a learning activity likewise. Now over here we are able to see the goals, and if we are able to assign a learning activities, so a learning activity can be updated and can be seen with full goals with the as per goals. But we also have a view of learning activities wherein I can quickly see what all activity learning activities has been assigned to me with regard to the specific goal. So this gives me a clearer view of the learning activities that I have to work into. Development plan also helps us in mentoring. Mentoring is partnering with more experienced colleague to enhance knowledge, skills in a certain area. It provides you the tool to define the programs. Mentors and mentees sign up for the program and mentors the progress. The mentor supports the employee by giving advice on how own experience or other structured ways to transfer knowledge. Mentor is more experienced person responsible for developing another individual within an organization, and mentee is an individual who is looking for guidance in developing their career. So this is little something about development. Now to start with the succession module, I would now change the screen and log in as Ms. Tessa Walker. As we log in, we understand that the success factor system remains the same. What changes are the permissions with respect to the stakeholders that makes the difference. As I've logged in as Ms. Tessa Walker, I will now be navigating to succession. Over here, I see the first thing as succession org chart. Now let's see how succession org chart of Mr. Jeff Hills looks like. Succession org chart is based on position. Over here, I see that Mr. Jeff Hill is a production director, and with this key, I understand that this position is critical. If I further click on Mr. Jeff Hill, I can understand that he has two named successors and bulk of top talent. I can add successors. As we see on the screen, there are two ways to add successors: internal candidates and external candidates. Internal candidates are those who are within the organization who can be added. Apart from adding the candidates on our own, we see that the system is also giving certain suggestions. These are the suggestions coming from the development plan who opted for this job role, worked on it, updated their goals and competencies, and achieved 100% as of today. Clicking on any one of these nominations, I can further decide, or the management can further decide the readiness. Though from development, we understand that this person is 100% capable, but then the manager may decide if this person is either ready now or would take 1 to 2 years or 3 to 5 years, and can further put a ranking. Apart from this, they can also update the notes of what made them put the readiness level for future reference. Okay, going ahead, when we click on the two successors that are for Mr. Jeff Hill or for production director, we see that the placard opens side by side, which makes it easier for me to differentiate the two of them. Though we see emoticons up here, these emoticons can be well changed or updated as per the requirement. Going below, we see that both of them have our nominations. We can see the performance and potential graph, competency and objective graph, which is with regard to the rating and can also be changed as trend. You may also notice as I'm scrolling down, the data for both of them scroll down simultaneously. Also, the data is not only limited to what is on the screen, we can add further data as required. Going ahead to position type. In succession org chart, we were able to handle one position at a time, but in position tile, we can have many more positions together. We can have a list of critical positions to work upon. We can add more filters as required, and we can work on two positions. One of an interesting feature of succession as per me is this lineage chart. Lineage chart is capable of making few decisions quite easy. Let us see how. Navigating again to Mr. Jeff Hill, we saw and we know that Mr. Jeff Hill has two nominations. But the confusion here is what I understand, both of them would take 1 to 2 years to get ready. And I also see that both of them has two successors each. To understand more, let us see how their successors are shaping up. I see that Ms. Jada Baker has two successors by name Patrick. Mr. Patrick, as per the readiness, is ready now to take over Ms. Jada Baker's job role, whereas Ms. Janice would take 3 to 5 years to get ready. Simultaneously, I also see Mr. James Clean's successors. I see that Mr. Benjamin would take 1 to 2 years, whereas Ms. Lauren would take 3 to 5 years to get ready for Mr. James Clean's job role. This makes the decision quite easier to understand that if Patrick can take over Jada's position today, Jada's job role today, Jada can very well be able to handle Mr. Jeff Hill's position or a job role. Success factor also helps us with talent pools. Now, what are talent pools? As succession is an ongoing process, talent pools are created to group employees who are being trained and developed to assume greater responsibilities within the organization. Often they have been identified as high performing and high potential individuals. Along with this, we also have talent search. Talent search, as the name says, is searching the talent by putting as filter as possible. Though on the screen we see a risk of loss and future leader, we can further add more data as required. In advanced information, as of now, I see that the talent pool name and readiness should be 1 to 2 years. Though I can change the data as per my requirement, I can also add more filters to it. What should be their career goals, what with the formal education, geographical mobility, etc. And I can also further add the rating and competencies as per my requirement. As I click on search, I will be able to get an exhaustive list of the data for which I put in the search. Along with these names, I see the percentage of match. For first three are 100%, then we have a few 66% and going ahead below. To understand what is the difference, when I click on this, I will be able to see what all criteria is matched. Simultaneously, if I click on 66%, I'm able to see only these two criteria matched. So this makes me clear of what matched that put up the data on this page. Now, as per the matches, I can further select these employees as required. I can either add them to the talent pool, I can export data, I can compare all of them, or I can nominate them. Next we have is how versus what metrics. As the screen shows, we just need to add some data. From where should it be starting? What all levels are required to be seen? The division, location, if it is with regard to the succession management and metrics report, or we want to see a group of data. As I click on generate, exhaustive data comes up. I can click on this data and the same view comes up. So by this, we also understand that success factor helps us by creating the discipline of assigning or updating the data at one place so that there is no confusion. At the same time, success factor also pops up with similar pages so that it takes least possible time for us to understand the system. Now with this, I can say click on multiple placards to understand the difference of the rating. This brings me to the end of the demo system, and now we will be sharing another survey on your screen before moving on to Q&A session.
Thank you all for participating. We shall share the results. Thank you. Moving on to the Q&A session with our first question.
Thank you, Ms. Nazia Mohammed. So, Ms. Nazia would like to know, does it auto-generate payslips? Ms. Nazia, if you have the payroll module subscribed, it definitely auto-generates the payslips, and it also is able to email the payslips, as well as the user can log in and download the payslips as well. Having said that, your SuccessFactors also integrates with third-party payroll providers as well as payroll engines, in which case as well, we will be able to take the data from the payroll engine and also populate the pay slips for the user, for the employees to be able to see and download as well. So the next question is from Mr. Rami. It says, can you show how this platform integrated with the organization access management tool? Does it initiate the grant or revoke user access? So by default, Mr. Rami, this tool does not do what you're expecting it to do. But having said that, with the help of business technology platform subscription, we can then integrate with your access management tool provider and be able to do the required functionality. So let's say if you want to initiate the action from SuccessFactors, this could be done, and through the process of integration, this particular enhancement can be done in order to meet your requirements. By standard, it cannot be done, but definitely, yes, it is possible technically for us to be able to do what you're expected to do. Any more questions? So we've answered Mr. Rami already. There is another question from Nazia Mohammed, says, can we do surveys for all internal employees? Yes. With the help of the experience management modules, you should be able to do surveys for all employees internally as well. As long as there is a subscription which is active for them, you should be able to conduct the surveys and be able to generate the reports. And also, as it is event based on certain events, also the surveys can be triggered automatically for that particular employee to be able to share their experience or perform the survey. We encourage you to ask us more questions and keep it interactive. We would be happy to answer questions for you. Thank you, Ms. Nazia. Thank you, Mr. Rami as well. So we have another question, says, do we have any integrated labor law for GCC? So essentially, madam, what happens is when a labor law is updated, or if there is a change or a new law which comes into play, then there would be certain aspects of it which need to be configured. So those can definitely be adapted in the system for certain aspects of it. Let's say, for example, the mandate for Emirates ID, example in UAE when it was introduced, then SAP did introduce the Emirates ID field and also the formatting conditions associated with that. So similarly, the system also has the capability for us to be able to define rules. So if you are from UAE, you would have noticed that from the Feb of this year, there were changes in labor laws pertaining to certain leaves, which are pertaining to, let's say, for example, paternity leave. That again was something that was configurable in the system, and that is something that we are able to configure for you as a partner in order to be able to use them effectively. Now, this is not only applicable to UAE, but also applicable to other GCC countries where the laws have been changed or updated or released. Those can be adapted in the system. Yes, so it does automatically calculate gratuity according to the rules and the configuration that we would have done. So let's assume that for a moment, let's assume you have adapted SAP SuccessFactors payroll along with SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central in your organization, and you have probably three country operations. Let's consider UAE, Saudi Arabia, as well as Oman, right? So all of these three countries might have different gratuity calculations and different taxation rules as well. So those would also be configured in the system. And then when you're doing the end of service benefit calculations, the gratuity will be calculated. And this is part of the payroll module, which is available in Employee Central Payroll. I hope that clear answers your question. So the question is, do we also have for African regions also the same process? Yes, we have implemented SAP SuccessFactors in multiple African countries as well. As mentioned, there are 43 pre-localized which is delivered from SAP, and for the rest of it, we will be able to localize it for you. So yeah, yes, in African countries as well, they can be localized. Thank you, Ms. Nazia. Any other questions? I hope we have answered all the questions so far that have been raised and we haven't missed anything. Any questions, any doubts that you think you believe you have? So we have a request to share the demo for further lookup. Definitely, Ms. Nazir, our team will get in touch with you and we can engage on a one-to-one session as well as do a demo for you and provide you with an access if required. That is something that we can definitely look at. Great. Thank you so much. Any more questions before we move on? Any further questions? Anybody else that would like to ask us any question regarding any of the modules, regarding the demo which we had today? So I believe we have no further questions. Thank you all for your participation in the webinar, and we look forward to engage with you in the near future again. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe and have a great day ahead.